Hey, everybody. This is Centering Possibility Live. I am your host and interviewer, Cesare Warren. I am a scholar, an education researcher, a singer-songwriter, and artist, but I'm also the author of Centering Possibility in Black Education, my latest book to be published by Teachers College Press Columbia University this spring, April 2021. And so this series of Centering Possibility Live gives me an opportunity to talk to and be in conversation with the artists who have contributed to this book and have really added so much texture and value to the ideas in this book. And today, I have the opportunity of sharing space and time with the one and only Angel Hart. So I'm excited that Angel is here. How you doing, Angel?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so happy to have you here. Great to see your face, and your locks is popping, and you got your Hillman shirt on. So I already know that this is gonna be
Just a
incredible.
little bit. I had to bring y'all some black girl magic today.
Indeed. So Angel Hart, who is Angel Hart? Tell us about who you are.
Wow, Angel Heart is a lot of things. Angel Heart is a mover. She's a shaker. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's an artist. She's so many things. She's so multifaceted. I love talking about her in the third person. That's amazing. But she's a lot of things. But I would definitely say all of those titles that I just gave, those are the things that Angel Heart is.
Yeah, that's dope. And tell me, what is bringing you joy right now?
What is bringing me joy right now is the fact that, well, in this current moment, because I try to live in the moment, it is National Poetry Month. And what has brought me joy this month is that I have been able to move my pen across paper every single day. My ideas are flowing. That makes me happy. Coming off of a writer's block and being able to literally write for now, we're in 22 days and being able to produce something for 22 days has definitely brought me joy. So that is where my joy lies right now. It is my absolute love to write. I've been writing since I was a little girl, and it is definitely my absolute love. So that is where I'm finding my joy right now.
I'm so impressed. Let me tell you.
It's not easy, but
I
it's
know.
doable.
No, but it says a lot about your discipline and your character. And so yes, applause to you. I wish I had an
Well,
applause
thank
track
you.
for keeping up with it. And I'm sure what you've written is dope. And we were talking a little bit. I would love just for the audience to hear a little bit about your geographical location. We were talking a little bit about where you're from and where you are presently. So anything that you want to share on that side of things?
Sure. So I am a DMV girl, born and raised. I'm from Prince George's County, Maryland. And recently I moved to Mercersburg, Pennsylvania, which is not too far from Maryland. And so what drew me here when I was originally hunting for houses was the history of the town. This is a town that was historically known for the slaves settling here after emancipation. Um, and it was originally dawned Little Africa. And so now the town is predominantly white. I think there are probably about 8 Black people that live here that I've seen. Every time that we see each other, we all just like, we all know what that means universally, right? Uh, but there was something that was drawing me here. I don't know. I've been doing some extensive research. There are a lot of hearts that are from Pennsylvania. And so I've been doing this extensive research to
Mhm.
kind of dig and find out what that's all about. I'm a heart by marriage. But definitely my husband and I want to understand our history. And so I don't know if there are some hearts that settled here or, if what the ancestors were doing when they drew me here, but I know that it's home. I definitely know that it's home.
Mm.
So, I am in my head, I've already started a campaign of how to turn this back into Little Africa. Just saying.
I love that. Listen, keep me posted because I want to be at the celebration. We need
Okay,
the
exactly. I just
celebration.
imagine it to be like Wakanda in my mind.
Man, we need all the Wakandas. Academically,
Exactly.
I've written about Black educational spaces. which
Mm-hmm.
really is the ways that Black people, just like what you just talked about, the head nod.
Mm-hmm.
We have cultural practices that create space even within oppressive systems and territories, right? We found
Absolutely.
ways to see one another, to
Yeah.
heal, but also to strategize resistance to the terror that we experience in our everyday lives. So, I'm all about finding ways to be in space with Black people and to share affinity.
I
So,
love it.
uh, you talked about your art, and you are one of and let me just thank you again for so graciously and generously sharing pieces of yourself and your world with the readers who will take this book and be engaged with the text. What made you want to contribute something to a book like this one?
So originally, when I contributed to it, I was informed about it by a good friend of mine who is a mutual friend of ours, Professor Brandon Wallace, the incomparable Brandon Wallace. And when I read through the original emails and ideas about it, I realized that when I was in school, there was so much that I was not taught. And so I feel like it is super imperative for our children and our generations to learn about who we are as a culture. I feel like we have been fed these ideologies and things over time that aren't necessarily true and don't cater to who we are um, as individuals, as a culture. And so I thought the idea was brilliant. And anywhere that I could lend my voice, I definitely wanted to. And so, it's just a passion for me. I have in my career worked with a lot of at risk youth who just didn't know a lot about themselves and where they came from and things like that. And so I'm always on this journey to ensure that we are, knowledgeable in our community and making sure that our children know who they are and where they come from. And so that's what drew me to the project.
That's amazing. And the project is better for you having been a part of it. And so, speaking of the project, Angel contributed two pieces to the book in a chapter about environment. And we're just coming off of the conviction of Derek Chauvin. And part of what I write in the book, sort of as a teaser, when we think about environment, there is the act of breathing, but there's the environment that either enables or disables one's breathing. And that environment is structured by social practices and social interactions, but also the physical condition. And so Angel has a poem that sort of wraps that chapter up, but also another chapter on thriving, where I think about and think with Black intellectuals who write about African-centered and Afro-cultural approaches to education, and what it means to see Black kids thrive as our number one priority. And Angel contributed a piece called "A Different World." So tell us a little bit about that piece, what that piece says about possibility in Black education transformation, and then we'll hear you perform it.
So, much like most of us who grew up in the 80s or the 90s, watching A Different World, I just kind of feel like A Different World gave us hope. And so that is where this poem came from. It is the first poem that I wrote, or spoken word piece that I wrote, that made me realize not only was I a spoken word artist, but there was also a place for what I do in this world. And so, as you can see, I am donning my Hillman t-shirt today because I am a graduate of Hillman College, like so many of us are. And I just thought, like, contributing to this, not, you'll hear in the piece, I felt like um, the television program that we had in yesteryear contributed to so many of us moving on, going to HBCUs, building friendships that would last forever. Being able to take that guidance and advice from our elders that look like us and things like that. And so that's what birthed the piece. I think that as far as again, like I said earlier, when it comes down to education, there is a huge overhaul that I feel like needs to happen. There's a huge transformation that needs to happen because we tend to, what I feel happens in the educational process is we tend to blot out those things that were ugly that pertain to the Black community. But blurting those things out or obliterating those things also gets rid of some things that were really beautiful. I think that we all know, so much of what is beauty came out of the struggle of slavery. So many great ideas and inventions and family and, all types of things came out of, even though it was a horrible time, it was some beautiful things that came out of it. And so I'm hoping that, whoever hears this poem or reads it feels exactly the same way. They capture exactly what I felt when I originally wrote it. I really hope that it comes across and it gives hope. I hope that, especially for the younger generations, um, you know, real quick, when I wrote this poem, I actually did an album last year that we can talk about a little bit later. But my cousin was on the album, and at the time he was 17 years old. And when he read this piece or he heard this piece, he said, "What is a different world? Like, I want to watch this show." And I sat with him literally for hours watching reruns and just the takeaways, the gems that he collected. His eyes were open to something different. And he said, I never thought about this before, or I never thought about that before. And so that just gave me a sense of pride. It let me know that, I was contributing. My little poem was, like a little speck of dust in the universe, but it was contributing something to another generation who has not even, they don't know anything about a different world. So I hope that, like I said, through audiences hearing this piece, they'll feel that same way.
I'm gonna yield the floor. A different world.
All right, here we go. Okay, picture this. 1999, I would rush home from the bus stop and leave all of my friends behind because I had to get home to the VCR simply to press rewind to watch my favorite storylines unfold on The Cosby Show, A Different World, and Good Times. See, Theo Huxtable was so fine. Vanessa and Rudy's home life looked nothing like mine because they actually sat around the table for a meal as a family to spend quality time as one unit, making one sound. Sandra set the example for all little girls to understand that Princeton was within their grasp if they would only focus in school and stay on task. Denise went on to live in a different world in a dorm room in Gilbert Hall as she walked down every fictitious hall in a place called Hillman College, which didn't exist past Channel 4 on my TV. But to me, this seemed to be reality. Had me hoping and praying for the day where I too could go to school and meet friends like Whitley Gilbert and have great instructors like Colonel Taylor and even have the great romance of my life with my real life, Dwayne Wayne. I mean, this thing was insane. I mean, glued to the television set for hours watching reruns of shows that I had seen 100 times. And I could literally recite each scene line for line. You couldn't tell me that the advice that Mr. Gaines was kicking in the pit didn't apply directly to my life. I remember how watching these shows about Black people portrayed in a positive light used to excite me. Like when Walona adopted Penny and she brought her home and she called her mama. Safe and protected, she no longer felt drama. But now, some days, I wish that I could pick up the TV, which I have not so affectionately renamed the idiot box, and smash it to the floor and turn back the clock to a time before I could witness Nipsey Hussle being shot down in cold blood on his block. Our children have managed to ingest something that was meant to infest their spirits and cause them danger when they watch the first 48 and see bloodstained concrete and then run to Twitter to tweet. I get so angry when I see teen pregnancy glorified on MTV, when it was once the station that introduced me to the innocence of Whitney's, MJ's Beat It and Whitney's I Want to Dance with Somebody. This is an epidemic, and it's made life even more hectic because we are basically told to just accept it because it's shoved down our throats every time that we grab a remote. Why are celebrity drug addictions and divorces taking their courses in the public eye and meeting scrutiny along the way? We cannot stay trapped in a place in our minds that teaches our daughters that in order to become America's next top model, she must be pencil thin, instead of first teaching her to appreciate her beauty and her melanin from within. How can boys grow to be the young men that God has intended them to be when they only see sex, guns, and drugs on TV? I'm closing my eyes. And I'm going back to a time when I imagined riding my bike with Rudy and Penny, studying all night with Jaleesa and Freddie, dating Shazar and then crossing programs to date Michael Evans. I'm going back to a place where Black mothers and fathers actually raise their kids like Cliff and Claire, sat around on family night just to open up and share. I'm going back to good times where we pulled together as a community if one neighbor was in need to have a rent party. It's a different world from where I came from to where we are now to where we're going. I'm shutting off the TV and I'm running to the store to buy every DVD of old school programming so that my babies can see that before reality TV, there was quality. And this is how it used to be.
But let's just imagine that the room is full of people and we
Y'all all
snapping it up.
snapping.
We
Everybody
snapping it up.
snapping. I love it. I love it.
Everybody snapping it up. And what's funny is, of course, I'm an '80s baby, but come of age in the '90s, and of course, I watched A Different World like everybody else, and I never knew that the HBCUs were a real place, and I still regret that nobody said this is not just a television show, but they're actual places that were designed for Black people in higher education. So anyway, I appreciate.
I agree 100%. I totally agree. And so, now it's all the rave to be in the HBCU, and I say go for it. That is exactly where you should spend your money.
I'm telling you that yes, my future children will definitely know about an HBCU.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much again for spending time with us today and sharing your art and your gift and just your love. You are bubbling with love and generosity, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. How can people find you and be in touch with Angel Speaks?
So you can definitely find me. Well, I got a couple of things going on. So Instagram is probably the best place to find me right now. And my handle is An Angel Speaks. See what I did there? You can also find me in the hallways of Clubhouse. Clubhouse has been very good to me here lately. So you can find me there at Angel Heart. I am also the author of 2 spoken word albums. The first one is called An Angel Speaks, Spoken Word Meets Poetry. The second one is called We Are Your Voices, A New Generation of Black Power. That is a collaboration effort that I did last year with some Gen Zers. And it was very, very interesting. It allowed them to showcase their art and to speak about the things that they were feeling around the murder of George Floyd. And so that's a collaborative effort. Anywhere that you listen to music, Spotify, Google Play, Apple, iTunes, Tidal, anywhere that you listen to music, you will be able to stream it at no cost. I just want the world to hear what we have to say.
There you are being generous again. Thank you so much again, Angel, for sharing space and time with us this afternoon.
This is dope. I love it. And if you ever need me, feel free to call me.
Oh yeah, we homies now. We friends. I'm actually gonna, anyway, we'll be in touch.
Okay, sounds good.
Listen, once again, I'm just so grateful for my guest and for all of you who are tuning in. And I hope that you're finding this series one that is useful to you as you engage with this book, which is my love letter. Is my love letter to Black people. It is my substance of my freedom dreams, and I'm hoping that it continues to inspire yours. Until next time, be good to yourself and be good to others. Take good care.